kind of problems that Peter Obi has, attracting even street urchins, classless street urchins. So we buy you there. I saw another classless street urchin of the cooking. So could be a level, cooking. All those rabies infested, dogs that anything you do, because they are ill-bred, they are very ill-mannered, ill-tempered street urchins. These are kind of followers that he's attracting now. Okay, we buy you there. We will buy you. What was that? What's so we will buy you there? I don't know what it is. But this, can you imagine? In a society that other leaders are attracting distinguished people, the people you are attracting are street urchins of the...
That was Kenneth Okonkwo, Nollywood actor and one of the spokespersons of Peter Obi Presidential Campaign Council in the 2023 presidential election, saying that Peter Obi is attracting street urchins and classless people, while his opponents are attracting distinguished Nigerians. It's an issue that I will address and show you when this matter of Kenneth Okonkwo attacking Peter Obi, where it emanated from, so that we'll be able to put everything in context. But before we do that, and I'll tell you my own position on what Kenneth Okonkwo was saying, let us look at what Peter Obi himself has responded to the attack by Kenneth Okonkwo that he's attracting street urchins, classless people, never-do-wells, while his opponents are attracting distinguished Nigerians. Now, Peter Obi, in a post he put out on his X handle, he titled it that humanity is paramount in my politics, no street urchins. He wrote, lately I have heard a few people say that those who follow Peter Obi are low-class Nigerians, and some have even gone as far as calling them street urchins and people of no value. It is deeply unfortunate that in today's Nigeria, citizens now look down on fellow citizens in such a degrading manner. I have never and I will never look down on anyone except to lift them up. After all, we can only rise by lifting others. My involvement in politics has never been about associating with the so-called high and mighty, but about standing with the ordinary Nigerians whose voices have been silenced and whose resources have been stolen by the same big names who now parade themselves with all sorts of titles and names. No Nigerian is of no value. No Nigerian is a street urchin. It speaks volume about the state of our nation that every day Nigerians are now battered by poverty and hardship, to the point their leaders refer to them as of no value and urchins. Every Nigerian deserves dignity, opportunity, and care. That is why I will continue to do my part to ensure that the ordinary Nigerians enjoy a better life, one built on access to education, quality health care, and genuine effort to lift them out of poverty. True leadership is not about mocking the weak. It is about lifting them up. A new Nigeria is possible. Peter Obi signed off. Now, it is important that we address this issue. And what Kenneth Okonkwo has said was even to the advantage of Peter Obi. In a country where over 140 million people are poor, over 140 million people are said to be poor, according to statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics. To be said to have poor people, street urchins, those who have nobody to help them, having trust in you, means you are a leader that they hope can save them from their terrible situation. So what Okonkwo, while he tended to denigrate Peter Obi, what he had ended up is to acknowledge that Peter Obi has mass support, since we have more poor people in Nigeria than few rich people. So those distinguished, what are the percentages of the distinguished Nigerians Kenneth Okonkwo was talking about? They are no more than 5% or 6% of the Nigerian population. Already in Nigeria, we know that you are either up there or you are down. The middle class have been destroyed by the political class. It therefore means that Peter Obi is commanding the majority of Nigerian voters, the majority of Nigerian ordinary people. That is therefore acknowledgement that Peter Obi has more support than those that Kenneth Okonkwo is backing today to take over the leadership of this country. Now, there is something, before I go further to even show more on this, if you look at your screen, you will see the picture of Kenneth Okonkwo with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of Nigeria. Kenneth Okonkwo changed and intensified his attack against Peter Obi after this meeting that you are seeing on your screen. Why did I say so? Because I followed what he had been saying before now. Remember that following the crisis in the Labour Party and all that, in which perhaps Peter Obi followed a particular direction in Labour Party leadership tussle that Kenneth Okonkwo didn't like or whatever, Kenneth Okonkwo began to appear on national television to say that in 2027, Atiku Abubakar should not run, Tinubu should not run, Peter Obi should not run, that those who are going to run should be they need brand new politicians that will take Nigeria into a new direction. That was his sing-song. That was the first hint that there is something fishy about his relationship with Peter Obi, the man who catapulted him to prominence, whether he liked it or not, in terms of political terrain. Being an actor and being in politics, they are two different things. That is why, despite the popularities of actors, they have made terrible politicians all over the world. And only very few of them have been able to transition from acting to politics. Only very few. You can count them by the tips of your fingers. And in the case of, don't look further than United States, where somebody that, like Ronald Reagan, transited from being an actor to becoming the governor of California, to become the president of United States, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, who transited from being an actor to becoming the governor of California, and that was where it ended for him. Okay? But the acting industry has produced millions of actors, celebrities, who never succeeded in politics. All they can do is to support one particular candidate or the other. Now, Kenneth Okonkwo changed drastically, and I was monitoring his digital footprint from March 1st, 2025. That was when, if you watch, that's when his attack against Peter Obi began to intensify. And that was the day that he made public his meeting with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Now, after that meeting with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he stopped saying that the old people should leave the scene for 2027. You understand what I'm saying? It was after that meeting, Kenneth Okonkwo no longer appeared on national television to say that Tinubu is too old to continue. Atiku is old. Peter Obi is old. They want new people to run in 2027. So, and in that meeting, which he publicized by himself. Thank God, because we wouldn't have known what happened if he hadn't made it public. Okay? So that we can use it as a reference point to what we are talking about. And in posting that meeting with Atiku Abubakar, this is what he wrote. In case you may not be able to read it from the screenshot on your screen. He said, this is a privilege. He said, it is a privilege and honor to be invited by His Excellency Atiku Abubakar for a consultative meeting on how best to chart a new course for our beloved country. The situation in Nigeria today requires the cooperation of every well-meaning Nigerian to ensure that our country is restored to its path of greatness. That was the clearest indication. As a political analyst, I knew that something was cooking when he posted this, and I took note of it. That the man has shifted camp. He stopped talking about Atiku being old. He stopped talking about Tinubu's being old politician and all that, and Peter Obi. Okay. And then the next thing, he escalated his intervention in politics by talking about that he no longer believes in zoning. He doesn't believe in zoning, that the next president should come from the south. Say, no, don't have to come from the south. It can come from anywhere. What we need is a competent person who can be able to win. And then he began to say that Peter Obi cannot be able to, even if Peter Obi win, he cannot be able to defend it. Be able to defend protect the vote. And I asked myself, how has Atiku Abubakar be able to protect his votes, his own votes? Atiku Abubakar contested in 2019. And that 2019, there was also allegation that the votes were rigged, in which incidentally Peter Obi was his vice presidential candidate. How did Atiku defend the vote better than Peter Obi in 2023? What did Atiku do? The only thing Atiku did was to move to Dubai. What magic did Atiku do to defend the vote? Absolutely nothing. He went to Dubai and go and relax. You can ask Bode George, he will tell you better. Then he contested again in 2023 when Peter Obi was also a candidate. So how did Peter Obi, after the election, which Peter Obi and Atiku, they were on the same page that the election was rigged, they went to court. So what did Atiku do differently from Peter Obi to defend that vote? That if Peter Obi gets the same vote in 2027, he will not defend it. But if Atiku gets that vote, Atiku will defend the vote. What magic that Atiku will do in 2027 in vote defended that he couldn't do in 2023? What are the options if not to go to court? In any case, Atiku doesn't have the capacity to call out anybody to the street. Nobody listens to Atiku. Already, Kenneth Okonkwo has already said it, that ordinary people don't support Atiku Abubakar. It's the distinguished people, eminent personalities, those who have put this country in this mess. These are the ones supporting Atiku. But it's Peter Obi that restrained himself by accepting to go to the courts. Okay? because he believed in rule of law. He had been a beneficiary of rule of law. It was through rule of law he was able to get into government house in Anambra State in 2003 after his election was rigged. It was through the rule of law that when he was impeached, the Supreme Court restored him. It was following the rule of law that when they conducted the election in Anambra State, when Peter Obi's tenure had not finished, Peter Obi went to the same Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that your tenure starts from the day you were sworn in. It was because of Peter Obi that we now have staggered election in Nigeria today. Adams Oshomole, Arewe Shola, name them. They are all beneficiaries of the foundation of rule of law that was started by Peter Obi. So that today you have some states that do governorship election different from the rest of the country. It was Peter Obi following the rule of law, and that's what he had applied in the presidency when he contested for it, following the same rule of law. So there's no magic that Atiku can do in defending his vote that Peter Obi had not done. But Peter Obi will not call out people on the streets to go and die. The same urchins, all those ordinary people that Kenneth Okonkwo is mocking, that are following Peter Obi, those are the people that are likely to take to the streets. The distinguished people that Atiku and they are attracting to, that have been that found Atiku attractive, they are not going to be around when the push comes to shove. So that's the fact. So what is he talking about? What he's saying is an acknowledgement of Peter Obi's political prowess in Nigerian politics today. That he has organic followers, ordinary people's support. The only Nigerian leader that come close to Peter Obi to that level is now late, is Muhammad Buhari. And then when you talk about people like Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso in sections of part of Northwest. But we are talking about Peter Obi has a national spread. And you are talking about Peter Obi who has obedient movement from all over Nigeria. And you are saying all these millions of youths, they are street urchins. They are classless people. They are irrelevant. But these are the people that they are PVCs. You need them if you want to upstage Tinubu in 2027. You need those urchins, those classless people. These are the people that will come and line up under the rain, under the sun for a new Nigeria. And you are demarketing them, you are insulting them, you are abusing them, and you think you are marketing Atiku by what that? I think Atiku himself should be embarrassed that this is the kind of people that is aligning with. People that can say this kind of terrible things about Peter Obi. It's not, to me, it's an acknowledgement, but for him to come out to say, look at how he wrote about his meeting with Atiku Abubakar with so much respect. He said he had a meeting with His Excellency. How many times have you seen him talk about Peter Obi and put the word His Excellency? Peter Obi deserves His Excellency too, because he has been governor for 8 years. Atiku Abubakar had never even been tested. Atiku's so-called prowess in governance has never been. He has never been an executive leader. He has never been governor. He has never been president. He has only been vice president. And vice president can't operate. The buck does not stop on the decks of the vice president. No matter what Atiku may claim, he doesn't have the kind of executive power experience where the buck stops at his table, like Peter Obi and even Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because these people have been governors. Atiku has never been governor. He has never run a state for 1 year, for 2 years. Let us see his capacity. He was only working at the mercy of Obasanjo. And when he messed up, Obasanjo put him in his proper place and he became invisible throughout the second term of Obasanjo. But this is the person that Kenneth is telling us is better than Peter Obi. Every time you see, he always criticizing Peter Obi. He has never said anything negative about Atiku Abubakar, even though all of them are presumed to be in ADC, including Peter Obi, at least technically, until he gets his membership card of the ADC or move on. So Kenneth Okonkwo is ignorant of what he was saying, because if he understood the import of what he was saying, he was insulting the obedient movement that cut across all class of people. And then he was insulting those street urchins, denigrating other Nigerians, saying that they are classless. What class does he himself belong? What class? Because he's a film actor, because he read law. Is that what put him in a better class than the other Nigerians? That he think he can be raising shoulders against the supporters of Peter Obi? That he's not attracting distinguished Nigerians? Well, that's why Peter Obi has also responded to him. And Peter Obi's response, I think, is apt. But I have added flesh to what Peter Obi said, to let him know that what he has done, if it is to demarcate Peter Obi for the advantage of Atiku Abubakar, his new master, he has even damaged Atiku Abubakar, because it means that Atiku Abubakar is a elitist presidential aspirant who will only kowtow to the interest of the upper class while neglecting ordinary Nigerians. And Peter Obi is running not for the upper class, but for the lowly class. Those that Kenneth Okonkwo is denigrating, those are the people Peter Obi want to lift out of poverty. And I think that marketing he want to do for Atiku Abubakar has been turned back against him and in favor of Peter Obi. Because even when I look at the reaction of ordinary Nigerians to that kind of statement from Kenneth Okonkwo, you realize that Kenneth Okonkwo has just scored an own goal against his Atiku Abubakar team. I don't know what to think about Kenneth Okonkwo's intervention by calling Peter Obi's supporters street urchins and classless people, while supporters of Atiku Abubakar are distinguished Nigerians. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.